Hi and welcome back. So in today's video, I wanted to introduce the whole concept about messages, getting messages from the other side, and what those messages look like. So there's many different ways that you can receive messages. If the first thing that you have to do is make sure that you are being aware and being open to receiving these messages. When something occurs, don't just dismiss it. Think about it and give some consideration. For instance, maybe sometime out of the blue, you're sitting in your living room and you get a smell of something. I don't know what it is. I know one friend of mine, when one of her dearly departed comes around, she smells burnt toast. Um, my mother smells lilacs when her grandmother is around. So pay attention to those kinds of smells. Of course, you have to make sure that they're not actual real smells that are in existence. Be aware also of thoughts that you have. There's a way that you can communicate with spirit that is telepathic. So if something random appears in your brain, then consider where that source is. You might have something that you see. For instance, you might see a plant that isn't anywhere near a window or any kind of a heat register or anything that would have any impact on any air movement, airflow within the room, but it'll just start to wiggle a little bit. That could be spirit that is just shaking a little bit. So you have to be aware of those things. And then beyond that, once you start to recognize those and be open to them, then you can start to request to get messages by getting confirmation. I remember one of my instances. Sometimes one of the downsides of being an intuitive is that you can get confused on whether what you're getting is your wishful thinking or if it's true. So I'm pretty good about that, but every now and again I will ask my guides and the universe to help me ensure that it's just not my wishful thinking. So I will ask for proof. And one example that I give to a lot of people that I've mentored is I was traveling in the mountains on a secondary highway a few years ago, and I was looking for an answer to if a question that I had had was really the answer to the question or if it was my wishful thinking. So I'm on this random road out in the mountains, and I asked them to show me or give me something having to do with penguins. Now, obviously, there's not going to be penguins in the mountains. So you have to make sure that you ask for something that is not going to be the norm there as well. No point in asking to see a deer if you're in the forest. So I asked about penguins, and I went on my drive and I was listening to my CDs, and that shows how old my car is. I still have CDs. So I was listening to my CDs, and on the way back, I got tired of listening to my CDs, so I took them off and I turned the radio on. The very first thing that the disc jockey said when I turned the radio on was, "I don't know if you've been to the zoo lately, but the penguins have been born." So that's my confirmation that I was getting a true message from spirit and that it wasn't my wishful thinking. I have a friend in BC. She lives in a rural location, and she was asking as well about asking for signs. And again, back to the idea of don't ask for a deer in the forest. She lives in a forested area. So I told her that when she was asking, to make sure that she asked for something that she wouldn't normally see in that area. And don't be afraid to put a timeline on it. Don't be afraid to say, I need to know, I need this sign, I need to know this answer by the end of the day or by 8 o'clock at night or whatever. If you leave it open-ended, remember that spirit doesn't have the same time constraints that we do. They don't experience time the way that we do in our earthly bodies. They don't age. They don't have a clock to punch. So if you just put it out there and ask them to show you, I don't know, a rainbow, maybe you'll get that rainbow in 4 months if you don't put a timeline on it. So if you say, show me a rainbow in the next 48 hours or something like that. That is how you can request the messages. So I hope that that has helped you understand about what messages can look like. And we're going to explore a little bit in the next video about how you interpret those messages. So I hope that you've enjoyed this, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.